Before we start this video, let's define what autism is. Autism is a developmental disorder that varies in severity. It is characterized by difficulties in social interaction and communication, and by restricted or repetitive patterns of thought and behavior. Now on to the video.
There are many theories that offer answers to the question, what causes autism? But at the end of the day, which holds any factual merit?
Today we'll be taking a look at the causes of autism debate by discussing 4 different theories behind what causes autism: genetics, age of mother at conception, vaccinations, and the refrigerator mother.
Hold up!
How does knowing the causes of autism make this significant for inclusion and disability in Canada?
Well, treatment of individuals with autism is not always perfect. Individuals with autism can be subject to stigma, discrimination, and human rights violations.
Basically, everyone should be aware about the needs of individuals with autism in order to create an environment that offers more accessibility, inclusivity, and support.
Plus, knowing the facts behind the causes of autism can help eliminate any false claims about autism. Especially because there are a lot of them.
Let's start with the ones on genes.
So, this theory is all about the science. Particularly, we're talking about the biological genetic anomalies that cause autism. So, let's start talking about this theory. Number 1, the genetics develop abnormalities. So, the scientists focus on finding these abnormalities or mutations in an individual's genes. These genes are found specifically in the specific bands of the DNA known as alleles. Number 2, this theory believes that the sex of the individual is a huge risk factor, with studies showing that boys are actually 4 times more likely to develop the abnormality, the autism, more than girls. Research shows that this is actually linked to the X chromosome. And number 3, environmental agents. Now, these play a huge role in the development of autism. These are described as epigenetic factors. Examples of these are pollutants like gas from cars or smoke from cigarettes.
What's the gap?
There aren't exactly specific genes that specifically develop the autism gene, but studies over the years have shown that scientists have discovered 206 possible genes that can develop the mutation.
Another theory is whether or not older maternal age has the potential to cause autism. Women are often warned not to wait too long before having children to avoid the chance of having children with neurological exceptionalities like autism. But is there any truth to this? Firstly, some studies suggest older maternal age can result in causing autism in children due to the fact that de novo mutations increase in egg cells as compared to sperm cells. De novo mutations refer to genetic alterations that are present for the first time in a sex cell of one of the parents, or a mutation that arises in the fertilized egg itself during early embryonic development. Secondly, if spontaneous genomic alterations in parents were the sole causal mechanism in autism causation, we should consider that that parent has lived a long time to endure a buildup of environmental and occupational exposures. These include increased incidences of maternal infections or autoimmune disorders. Lastly, there is the contrary aging sperm theory. There is ample research to support the correlation between greater paternal age and the prevalence of infantile autism, yet there is a major emphasis placed on women to avoid having children later in life.
What's the gap?
There is an overall agreement between researchers that there simply isn't enough evidence to prove that older maternal age has a causal relationship with having children later on in life.
Despite compelling scientific evidence against a causal link with vaccines and autism, many individuals continue to suspect that vaccines, particularly MMR and TCVs, can cause autism. This controversy officially started in 1998 when a study was published by Andrew Wakefield and his colleagues that suggested that MMR vaccines might be the cause of autism. Many parents reported that the vaccine caused autism. the British Medical Journal stated that Wakefield's findings are incorrect, contrary to the findings of an earlier investigation. The original study was then eventually retracted, and Wakefield lost his medical license.
What's the gap?
Despite the rigorous vaccine safety systems in place in North America, some parents remain concerned about the safety of the childhood vaccines and the immunization schedules. These concerns have led some parents to restrict their children from receiving some or all of the recommended vaccines.
I know you're wondering, what is a refrigerator mother and when was this term coined? Essentially, the term refrigerator mother is a hypothesis placing blame and guilt on parents of children with autism. If parents are cold, detached, and emotionally unavailable, or they lack maternal warmth, they are considered the refrigerator mother. The hypothesis states that these deficiencies have been said to cause autism in children. This term was popularized and referenced in The Empty Fortress, Infantile, Autism, and the Birth of the Self by Bruno Bettelheim in 1967. Bruno's psychoanalytic concepts compared the lack of warmth between children and parent, and he compared those interactions with experiences of deprivation in the concentration camps of World War II. After conducting further research between the 1960s to 1970s, there was no empirical evidence to support this hypothesis. This hypothesis was beneficial in a way that families considered the fact that emotional warmth, empathy, these concepts were really important in children's development.
What's the gap?
This notion perpetuates gender roles and a woman's duty to serve her family. Gaps to research prove that there is insufficient data to prove the authenticity of the refrigerator mother. Case closed. So what are the implications of the ECEs working with children with autism and their families?
Well, there's a lot, but for now, I think we'll just stick to 4.
Okay, so as a professional in the early childhood and learning care, we should leave our biases and prejudice behind when it comes to interacting with children and their families. Although a parent might appear to be distant from their child, we need to acknowledge cross-cultural expression of affection, whether that's verbal or non-verbal, which can differ from what we deem to be normal.
Parents may feel overwhelmed at the diagnoses of their child having autism and what that may mean for their family. Studies show that parents' psychological well-being are more negatively affected when raising a child with autism as compared to those who have children that are typically developing. These negative experiences stem from the child's behavior, the parent's perception of what autism is, and the label of autism itself.
As future ECE professionals, we may face situations where parents feel uncomfortable and have concerns about the requirements of enrollment for their children in childcares and schools. They may share these concerns prior to enrollment and hesitate to vaccinate their children for many reasons. 2 of the major reasons parents feel uncomfortable and have concerns over the past decade have been that vaccines may cause autism and children receive way too many unnecessary vaccines.
And lastly, the spread of false information, or as we call it, fake news. That can totally impact how families view children with autism or how they choose to act for their children, like anti-vaxxers. In the field of ECE, we want to ensure that parents have the right information behind the causes of autism in order to help them support their children.
And that is the cause of autism debate.
Oh, thank God. That was a lot of information.
We're almost there, Shane.
Alright, well, while these 4 theories are widely used to justify the cause of autism, it should be noted that none of these are actually proven or the definite cause. They're all just theories. So hopefully this information can help guide professionals in educating families about the myths behind autism. That's right. Now I'm out of here.